Warning, this video contains flashing images. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone is doing amazingly well there. Thank you all for being here. Anyway, we are back again once more with some more true Reddit scary stories. Now it is up to you guys and girls to believe them or not. I will let you think about that. Anyway, without further much ado, let's go on to the very first story. I shall scare you later. We got lost in a forest, and it was one of the strangest experiences of my life. The following is a story that took place quite a few years back. However, it still baffles me completely, and I'd like to share it here. I'm a teenager and I've been in scouting, Boy Scouts, for nearly all my life. And I really enjoy exploring with my friends and being trusted more, as I'm more older now. And two girls named Amy and Harriet were asked to head into the woods surrounding our campsite to find a long, straight stick suitable for carving into a point. Bear in mind, I was a lot younger back then. Harriet was older and Amy only 1 year older than myself. We had been walking in deliberately the same direction as to not get lost, and memorising the surroundings as we went in order to find our way back easily. About 50 minutes in, we couldn't find anything to take back, so we turned around to return to the campsite. That's the initial panic set in. The trees had almost unnaturally knitted themselves together in such a way that it seemed their path was non-existent in the first place. Like it just vanished. We looked about 360 degrees and now everything looked exactly the same. Trees we could have sworn were different from one another appeared as all copies of the same tree. We kept walking in what we thought to be the correct direction while shouting out for help, and eventually came to a concrete path, almost like a road, but very thin, separating the forest, splitting it into two. We didn't follow the road as it went in the wrong direction to our campsite. On the other side of the path was more forest. However, nearby was an abandoned shack, likely used for storage or whatever else. We had no idea anything like this was out there in the woods, so we just kept walking. We eventually came to a road we didn't recognise. A woman wearing a pink and purple regatta outdoors coat walked past, and we frantically asked her for the direction of our campsite, as by now, according to our watches and Harriet's phone, we'd been walking for an hour and a half. She said she'd never seen us before, but she said there's another campsite in that direction. We followed her advice and eventually came back to our campsite. We frantically apologised for being so long and that we couldn't find anything. The leader, Ian, could see all three of us were shaken up, and he was confused that we'd only been gone 25 minutes and that our free time was going on. To this day, this baffles all three of us, as our free time was 40 minutes long and our watches and phones had said we'd been gone for hours. The forest we were lost in felt crushing and claustrophobic, like we'd entered an area that the concept of time didn't apply to. I believe in the paranormal. However, this was unlike anything I've heard or experienced before. It literally was like we'd been in a time vortex or something, and that the hours in the forest were only minutes in the rest of the world. The feeling was very strange and it stuck with me for the rest of the camp. Thanks for reading my story. It's a weird one, but it's true. If you'd like to hear more stories from my weird life so far, then feel free to upvote and comment. If you have any ghost videos you would like me to react to, why not send them to my email address? Thank you very much. I work in a haunted mansion, literally. I'm a behavioural health technician. I got a new job back in September at what was considered a luxury drug and alcohol rehab facility. The facility is a huge mansion that on the outside looks like a mix of the Banks Bel Air mansion on the Fresh Prince or a mini White House. It's 3 levels. Has 13 rooms that all have private bathrooms with jacuzzi tubs. There's a gym, 3 living rooms, a huge commercial kitchen, a ballroom, yoga studio, doctor's office, huge garden and an elevator. My first week I had 2 clients tell me it's haunted and I laughed it off. My schedule was 11 PM to 7:30 AM, so majority of the time all the clients are asleep and it's just me and a nurse in this huge house, so it's quiet. My office is on the 2nd floor. Nurse's office along with the kitchen and huge pantry are on the 1st floor. The pantry is locked at all times and the nurse has the key. A couple of weeks ago the nurse come stomping up the stairs, yelling at me, saying I scared her hiding in the pantry. I'm lost because I hadn't left my office. And when I tell her, she goes pale and she's like, "You weren't just in the pantry, yeah, and yelled knock knock?" I say, "No, how could I when you have the key?" She walks out. 10 minutes later I hear her talking, so I go down to her office and she's down on her knees praying in Punjab. At 6 AM the chef and handyman clock in, ask how her night was, and I jokingly say Casper scared the nurse in the pantry. The chef says, "Oh, that's Kay, if it was in the pantry." I'm like, WTF? He then goes on to say he's worked here for 15 years and it used to be a retirement home, so lots of residents passed away here. He named off certain residents and where their ghosts have been seen, saying they've always been kind. Not malicious type of hauntings. Nurse Jai put in her 2 weeks notice and is no longer here. I hear footsteps, lights flicker and the fireplaces randomly come on, but I haven't had anything actually speak to me like Nurse J. My pay is significantly higher than average and my supervisor says it's because he can't keep night shift staffed. I think it's because it's haunted and my pay is too good to scare me away.
Thank you for the great support, I really do appreciate it. If you are enjoying what I'm doing, why not think about subscribing to my channel? It is free and would help me a great deal.
Help me, I'm lost. This is my first post and it's a true story. I was living in a rural area in Oklahoma with my mother at a small lake house, and I'm probably 10, 11 at the time. One night I'm sleeping in my room and I randomly and abruptly wake up for no reason. This was not normal for me and I felt very uneasy. The only sound I could hear was my mother snoring in the next room on the couch. I rolled over and tried to get back to sleep, but my need to use the bathroom was growing more urgent, so I grudgingly forced myself to head that way. The bathroom is on the other side of the house, around a corner and past the kitchen, and finally down a long hallway on the right. So after I made the trip and finished my business, I flipped off the light switch and started heading back to bed. That's when I heard the distinct click of the light switch, and I saw the glow of the bathroom light in the hallway. Terrified, I slowly turned around just to witness the light in the bathroom starting to click on and off. Click, 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 click. Finally, it shut completely off. In the dark of the hallway, my eyes began to make out a white shape near the end of the hall. It was around my size and crouched to the floor. At this point, I'm frozen to the spot as my mind begins realizing that no one else is home except for my mom and myself. Then the white shape began whispering in a quiet man's voice, "Help me, I'm lost." I remember wanting to scream for my mom, but I couldn't, and instead I barely said no before this thing starts running at me on what sounded like all fours. I quickly ran through the kitchen and around the corner before running to my sleeping mother, shaking her awake. I remember saying, "It's coming, it's coming." My mother's eyes going from dazed to alert in an instant. She asked me what was going on, and I saw her eyes look over my shoulder before she screamed. Remembering her scream still makes my blood run cold. Never had I heard pure terror like that in my life, even to this day. She grabs me by my arms and pulls me into my room and slams the door. She holds me in her arms with her back pressed against the door as we listen. It sounded like this thing was running around in circles in the kitchen. You could hear hands and feet slapping against the tile. The kitchen had a sliding glass door to the outside, which sounded like it was thrown open then slammed. We sat there horrified until daybreak. I was sent to my grandmother's in the next town for a while after that. Never set foot in that house again. Years later, my mother said she went walking around the property after the incident and came across a small burial site with 3 headstones that each belonged to children from the early 1900s. It freaks me out because what I heard that night was a man's voice, but it was so unnatural. My mom still will not tell me what she saw behind me and what it was that made her scream. She tells me she's afraid it will know we're talking about it and it will come back. This is the first of many weird things that have happened to me in my life. Welcome back everybody, thank you all for watching my latest video. Hope you enjoyed. Were these stories quite scary? If so, would you like to comment below? All comments help my channel out a great deal. Anyway, until next time, I shall scare you later. See you guys. I hope you liked the new video. If you enjoyed, why not like, comment and subscribe. Here are some other videos that might interest you. Until next time, I shall scare you later.